European settlers were disgusting, actually. Alright, before we begin this lesson, I want to give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles, great millstone, who I learned this truth from. They are the real prophets of all Israel in these end times. Shalom to you, brothers on the highways and hedges, giving up your body as a living sacrifice, and showing your due diligence to make your calling and election sure by edifying the elect of Israel. Shalom to you, brothers, man. Shalom to you, Akwaf in order, meaning you Israelite sisters that are in order. Shalom to you. And shalom to you, Israelites scattered abroad that may look like these other nations, but your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, making you a Hebrew Israelite regardless of your appearance. Because this thing ain't about color, it is about a chosen seed line. So if your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, regardless of what you may appear to look like, you are indeed one of the biblical Hebrew Israelites and of the chosen seed line, which is eligible for salvation. As you see in the title, European settlers were disgusting, actually. And I just want to bring this out, man, because, I've had these images on my phone for a while, and I recently did a bit of research to see whether these things were true that you're about to, that I'm about to read to you. And it turns out it is, which I'm not surprised. I knew it would be true. I just had to get proof as to the sources of this information. You know what I mean? I don't want to be the one responsible for spreading false information and stuff like that. All right, you have to forgive me. I'm just laid in bed. I'm tired. I was literally about to go to sleep, and I thought, you know what? As I'm researching this, I might as well just bring it out quick before I go to bed. So, check this out. It says pissing and defecating in public. Unlike the Aztecs, who had complex sanitation systems and designated latrines, the settler, meaning the Edomite, the conquistadors, the Spaniards, the Edomites, right? It says the settler, unaccustomed to such order, might relieve himself wherever he stood, oblivious to the disgusted stares of locals. Now keep in mind, these people you see in the background, they would be Native Americans. And this would be your Edomite, just oblivious to the disgusted stares of the locals, because it was common practice for these people to be so damn vile. Hence the reason why in the book of Job, chapter 30, it explains how in the ancient world we ran them off to the caves, and they became what is known today as the caveman. They were the only nation in this world out of the, 18 nations of people, I believe. They were the only nation to be known as cavemen. No one else in the world was cavemen. Okay, these were the people that were run off into the caves. You may have had certain little civilizations that lived in caves in a small, in a small number or whatever. I'm not 100% sure on that. So don't, quote me on that, but, it's possible. But these people were the main cavemen, okay? Because it's biblical. I mean, the fact that these people lived in the caves, you know what I mean? It's actually documented in the Holy Scriptures because it's a part of their history that they like to try and hide from us. But, in this lesson, we're going to show you how, disgusting these people are by nature. What you see is the Edomite today. They're just a cleaned up version of who they used to be, man. It says spitting rotten teeth into the street. After months at sea without fresh food, the settlers' teeth are blackened, rotten, and loose from scurvy. And to be honest, blackened teeth among these Edomites was a sign of royalty. They used to do it purposely to themselves, make their teeth black because it was a sign of wealth, you know? It was a way of, uh, you know what I mean, showing off or stunting, um, flossing on others, you know what I mean? To basically look as if as if somebody's wearing like Gucci. It's like, yeah, you're competing with your fellow man because you got designer gear, right? But this is how they treated rotten teeth back then. It was a form of wealth, having wealth, because only rich people could afford sugar, and the rich people would consume a lot of sugar and it would rot their teeth. So they would purposely make their teeth black to make it appear as if they were wealthy, man. Colonial hygiene practices that no one would use today. Rotten teeth were seen as a sign of wealth. During the colonial era, sugar was a hot commodity. It wasn't something that the average Joe could buy, which meant that it was reserved for the higher, wealthier classes. And while we now know that rotten teeth as a result of too much sugar is a bad thing, they didn't think the same back in the day. Rotting teeth were actually seen as a sign of wealth, as it proved to the rest of the world that you could afford it. Even those who couldn't afford sugar tried to fake that their teeth were rotten. They tried to stain them with natural colorings and scrub them with lye to create the illusion that they were rich. Through. Oh my God, to put the icing on the cake, check this out. They use crocodile excrement as a contraceptive. Crocodile's doo-doo as a contraceptive. Check this out, man. It says during the colonial era, contraceptives were scarce. Because of this, couples and unmarried women often welcomed children they had not been expecting or planning to conceive. But in an effort to prevent pregnancy, strange and bizarre makeshift contraceptives started to pop out of the woodwork. One of the most common during this time was crocodile excrement. Crocodile dung, man. It says, which was rolled into a ball and then inserted into the woman before any physical acts. So before her husband pops her, she will put a dookie ball of crocodile doo-doo up her, man. Madness. Who would think of this? Only a damn Edomite would think of this. It says, as you could imagine, this caused a whole load of other problems and didn't always prevent pregnancy. No shit. It says, so the concept became less and less popular as the time wore on. And these are the people we're supposed to go to for medical advice. And if we talk about using natural herbs and remedies and plants and stuff that grows from the earth, then you know what I mean, that's counted. That's that's classed as medical misinformation and they strike our channel and take our videos down. This damn devil has to go, man. So let me read this from the top again. After months at sea without fresh food, the settlers' teeth are blackened, rotten, and loose from scurvy. When one finally falls out, he casually spits it onto the pristine, swept streets of Tenochtitlan. I can't even pronounce that, to be honest, but you see what it says right there, right? It says right next to a bustling food market. Disgusting, man. Scratching at lice and letting them drop. It says, covered in lice that he's long since accepted as part of life. The settler absent-mindedly. Oh, okay. Absent-mindedly. Okay, so oblivious, right? Scratches at his scalp and sleeves, flicking the crawling parasites onto the ground. An Aztec child watching nearby recoils in horror. These illustrations are dope. Like zombies, man. It says, reeking of rot and refusing to bathe. The Aztecs bathed daily in clean water, used herbal soaps, and perfumed their bodies. You know, and you got to understand the Aztecs are Israelites, the Lord's chosen people, a particular tribe, right? And it's common practice for us Israelites to be clean. We've always been clean, regardless of the stereotypes. They like to say black people are dirty, stinky, or whatever. No, that's not our history, okay? We've always been known to bathe regularly. And I've got loads of clips, even today, where Edomites just find it really bizarre that people actually use washcloths when they wash, or they actually wash their legs, or, you know what I mean, use soap even in some occasions. Because these Edomites, they are, you do, I'm not saying all, because you do have some that are clean. You have a lot that are clean. But on a higher level, they are less clean than us Israelites, man. And that's just a really known fact. That is an easily proven fact. Okay? So these people are just basically showing you little glimpses as to how they used to be in the past, even to this day, man. So it says, the Aztecs bathed daily in clean water using herbal soaps and perfumed their bodies. The settler, the Edomite, right? The devil, believing water spreads disease, refuses to wash. His clothes stiff with months of sweat and filth. Oh gosh. His breath is a toxic mix of rotten gums and putrid stomach acid, making even casual conversation unbearable. God damn. It's nuts, man. It says vomiting in the middle of the street. It says weakened by disease and unaccustomed to the rich, fresh food of the markets. The settler gorges himself on produce, only for his malnourished body to violently reject it. He vomits it in the middle of the street, then wipes his mouth with the same sleeve he's been wearing for a year. Ugh, can you imagine? And these are the same people that used to grape our women, man. Our clean, beautiful women that smell like berries. And you got this putrid thing on top of her. I mean, it's not funny, but damn, man. It's just, I'm getting mental images of that because this is what they did to our people, man. It's really disgusting. But anyway, coughing up blood on merchants' goods, it says already riddled with respiratory infections, the settler haggles over food he can barely afford. It says only to have a coughing fit that sprays phlegm, bloody phlegm, Salakia, onto a vendor's beautifully arranged vegetables. The merchant stares in stunned disgust. Oh my God, man. These people. It says, sleeping in the same filthy clothes, too weak and clueless to adapt to adapt. The settler curls up in a corner of the city, still wearing the same flea-infested wool and linen that he crossed the Atlantic in. The air around him becomes thick with the stench of unwashed flesh, sickness, and decay. Look at him, he looks like he's just rotting into the ground, man. Scriptures say they were viler than the earth, man. Oh my god. Alright. Smearing his own waste on a wall. And if you go to any public toilet in this kingdom, man, you're gonna see the same kind of stuff, man. You know, not on such a large scale as they used to, but you find feces smothered on the side of the damn toilets, on the wall. And it's like, how? Who did that? How did that get there? That's crazy. But just the fact that that even happens. But this is the Edomite kingdom for you, man. Okay, so it says, without access to the chamber pots and sanitation methods of home, which was still primitive by Aztec standards, the settler, delirious from fever, does what some Europeans at the time were known to do. He smears his own feces on a wall, believing it might ward off spirits or diseases. My gosh. These people rule over us, man. Drinking contaminated water and collapsing from dysentery. It says unfamiliar with clean water systems, and that's true because they were drinking out the Thames River, man. You know, and in England, and that was the same river they were defecating in, and they were really unsanitary. That water was disgusting, and they were drinking out of that, man. Unfamiliar with clean water systems, the settler drinks from a random canal without realizing it's for irrigation, not drinking. It says within hours he's doubled over, releasing violent diarrhea into the street, confirming everyone's worst fears about his presence. Oh my god, you can't make this up, man. It says touching everything with filthy hands. Unlike the Aztecs, the Israelites, right? The Edomites. Check what they do, man. Unlike the Aztecs, who washed regularly, the settlers' hands are crusted with dirt, food, grease, food grease, and possibly feces. No, more than likely, yes, it was feces. It says, yet he touches everything. Fresh fruit, woven fabrics, even people, leaving a trail of filth wherever he goes. God dang. Oh my gosh. I think that's it. Anyway, I'm not stopping there. I got some other things I'm going to show you. Let's open this one. It says, what was Aztec hygiene like? Right, let me change position because my neck is all bent. I need to get comfortable. Right. What was Aztec hygiene like? It says the Aztecs, a collective of Mesoamericans who thrived from the 14th to the 16th centuries, were the inheritors of ancient cultural traditions from their Olmec, Mayan, and Toltec predecessors. It says Aztec hygiene practices reflected earlier practice, continuing a dedication to cleanliness and purity. It says when Spanish conquerors first encountered the Aztec people during the early 16th century, so the Spanish conquerors are the Edomites, right? So when the Edomites, let's just change that to what it really is, right? When the Edomites first encountered the Israelite people dur- during the early 16th century, right? When Esau encountered Jacob, let's just say, they were amazed by their techniques for keeping themselves and their surroundings clean, a stark contrast to European practices at the time. It says the Aztec Empire went to great lengths to provide clean water to the masses, rid the air of perceived pollutants, and use natural ingredients to promote health and hygiene. And we have a little clip here. So let's check this out.
The Aztec were a collection of Mesoamericans who thrived from roughly the 14th century through the 16th century. And when Spanish conquerors first encountered the Aztec peoples, they were amazed by their techniques for keeping themselves and their surroundings clean. So, today we're going to take a look at what hygiene was like in the Aztec Empire. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel and let us know in the comments below what other hygiene-related topics you would like to hear about. Okay, time to get clean. Aztec Fresh. The Aztecs were the inheritors of ancient cultural traditions from their Olmec, Mayan, and Toltec predecessors. As such, Aztec hygiene practices reflected those ancient customs and continued their dedication to cleanliness and purity. Their concerns about personal hygiene and sanitation were interwoven with spiritual considerations, so the Aztecs far exceeded the standards of their contemporaries in this department. While London was still drinking out of the sewage-clogged Thames as late as the mid-19th century, the Aztecs, centuries earlier, were going to great lengths to provide clean water to the masses and rid the air of perceived pollutants. The Aztec peoples were well aware of how important water was to all aspects of life. This consideration led to the development of systems of canals in the empire's major cities. In Tenochtitlan, for example, the canals not only supplied residents with water, they were also a fully functional public transportation system. Conquistador Hernan Cortes commented that Tenochtitlan was big, with wide and narrow streets alongside half canals where they paddled their canoes. Canals that brought fresh water for personal use were lined with plaster, matched by accompanying networks to remove human waste and other detritus. Cortes recorded that alongside one of the city's causeways were two aqueducts made of mortar. Each was 2 paces wide and 6 feet deep, and along one of them, a stream as wide as a man's body carried very good fresh water into the heart of the city. The Aztecs drank from that stream, and the other, which was left empty, was used when the people wished to clean the first canal. The canals and aqueducts also effectively kept fresh and salt water separate, which was essential for both individual use and irrigation purposes. Another incredible benefit of the extensive water system in Aztec cities was the fact that it allowed for baths in private homes. While most Aztecs took cold baths, they also occasionally participated in steam baths for ritual purposes. An Aztec steam lodge, Temazcal, was an enclosure with no windows that featured a heated floor dashed with cold water. It was built in accordance with long-standing Mesoamerican practice and was used for purification of the body after physical conflict to aid in healing, curing an illness, or serve as a site for women to bear children. Like most aspects of Aztec hygiene, the Temazcal was connected to spirituality. The goddess of the steam bath was Temazcaltesi, a deity whose image was kept on display nearby. Tazolteotl, the 5th goddess, protected the entrance to the Temazcal, overseeing the process by which people rid themselves of physical and spiritual grime. Aztecs didn't have soap in the modern sense of the word, but they did take advantage of the cleansing properties of numerous plants. For example, the roots and fruit from the copochocotl, later called the soap tree by the Spanish, produced a lather that could be used to clean the body and clothing alike. The shuamoli plant, also known as the amoli, had similar properties. Described as being long and narrow like reeds, with a shoot and a white flower, it acted as a cleanser. The large, thick roots were used to remove hair, and the small, slender ones were used like soap. During the month of Atem Ostli, the 16th month of the solar calendar, during which the rains fell by the grace of Tlaloc, Aztecs often avoided bathing their hair, body, and clothing as a sign of sacrifice and penance. Similarly, women didn't wash their faces while men were away fighting. The Badianus manuscript, also known as Libellus de Medicinalibus Indorum Herbis, or Little Book of the Medicinal Herbs of the Indians, is an herbal text from 1552 which records that the Aztecs had acute concern for underarm odor. The book recommended that when smelly and goaty, a person should enter a very well-prepared bath and there wash the armpits thoroughly. To kill the odors, it recommended washing with the pulverized plants Chiavashiwit, a human and dog's bone recently removed from the body, and the juice of all well-smelling flowers and plants. Sounds like a Bath and Body Works lotion. To keep body odor away, Aztecs also applied deodorants that were made from ingredients like copal gum, amber oil, and balsam oil. To overcome the fetid odor of the infirm, patients were anointed with a perfume made of flowers, pine needles, and fruit. Women also wore perfume, presumably similar to the concoction applied to sick and injured individuals. Curating smells wasn't limited to the body. The Aztecs burned incense as well, especially priests during religious rituals, as scents were crucial to spiritual practices. According to the Florentine Codex, a 16th century work by Spanish Franciscan friar Bernardino de Sahagún, Aztec women believed that remaining clean and pure was the ideal way to find a husband. As one of the few first-hand accounts of Aztec society that survives today, the Codex contains insights into cultural traditions in the Aztec world. Among other things, this includes a father advising his young daughter to wash her face and hands, and to clean her mouth in the mornings, but never to wear makeup or put red on her mouth to look beautiful. The father added that makeup and paint are things that light women use, shameless creatures. If you want your husband to love you, dress well, wash yourself, and wash your clothes. According to Sahagún, courtesans, or women who dressed and groomed herself in order to please, used makeup and perfumes, including a yellow cream called ashen, which gave them a dazzling complexion. He also noted that these women, being what he described as loose and lost, also sometimes wore rouge. Regardless of the preferences of men like Bernardino de Sahagún, women did often wear makeup, although in moderation. The most common cosmetic was ashen, a yellow mud of sorts spread on the skin.
You know, I'm gonna leave it there. In a nutshell, yeah, the Aztecs, which are Israelites, right, of the Northern Kingdom, they had a lot of advanced practices in hygiene and irrigation systems and stuff like that. While the Europeans, the Edomites, they were very behind, when it came to sanitation and stuff. I just found that quite interesting. Thought I'd bring that out. Anyway, man, I'm gonna close out here because I'm going to sleep now. I'm tired, man. Lord willing, you were edified by this lesson, alright? I didn't bring out any precepts on this particular lesson. Salakia for that. But you can read Job chapter 30, which will explain how the Edomites were cavemen in the past, and this just kind of backs that up, man. All right, so yeah, I just thought I'd bring that out quick. If anybody wants any links, let me know, man. I just found this kind of funny, man. Anyway, on that note, man, I'm closing out here. I want to give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right, Shalom.